The motorcycle rolled to a stop beneath a flickering neon sign. Open. 24 hours, the letters buzzed unevenly, one corner dimmer than the rest, casting red light across cracked asphalt. The road behind the drifter stretched empty 4 miles, swallowed by trees so thick they seemed to lean inward. Listening, he cut the engine. The silence was immediate and unsettling. No insects, no wind, just the faint electrical hum from the sign and the distant ticking of cooling metal. He hadn't planned to stop, but hunger has a way of overpowering caution. The diner looked like it had been pulled straight out of another decade. Chrome-trimmed old by age, wide windows revealing red vinyl booths and checkered floors. Several cars sat parked neatly out front. Neatly, none had fogged windows. None showed signs of movement. Someone had been here recently. The bell above the door chimed. As he stepped inside, warm air wrapped around him, heavy with the smell of old grease, burned kufi, and something faintly, sweet, almost chemical. Music played softly from a jukebox in the corner, a cheerful tune that fell out of place in the empty room. Every booth was occupied, not by people, but by evidence of them. Plates of half-eaten food, coffee cups gone cold, a newspaper folded mid-page, a child's backpack resting against a stool, a jacket draped over a chair like its owner planned to return any second. The drifter's instinct screamed. Places didn't empty like this. He moved slowly, boots echoing too loudly against the tile. Near the counter, he noticed marks on the floor, dark streaks that looked like something heavy had been dragged toward the kitchen. "Hello?" he called. His voice didn't echo, it just disappeared. A figure stood at the far end of the diner between two booths. A man. He was facing away, shoulders slumped, swaying slightly like he was struggling to stay upright. "You okay?" the drifter asked, hand drifting closer to his jacket. The man turned. His face was pale, almost gray, eyes unfocused like glass marbles. His mouth opened as if he wanted to speak, but instead, a scream tore out of him. It wasn't fear. It was pain. It was pain. The man rushed forward with sudden speed, slamming into the drifter and knocking him backward into a table. Dishes shattered across the floor. The man's grip was iron strong, fingers digging into flesh with no hesitation, no emotion. As they struggled, the drifter felt something move beneath the man's shirt, not breathing. Crawling, he shoved hard, breaking free, scrambling backward just as the man staggered and convulsed. His spine arched unnaturally, and something pushed outward from between his shoulder blades. It emerged slowly. A floating mass of pale tissue and twitching strands hovered inches above the man's back, pulsing faintly. Thin tendrils extended downward, weaving into his neck and spine like living wires. The man screamed again, this time without sound. His body jerked forward as if the drifter reached for his revolver. Before he could fire, a deafening shotgun blast echoed through the diner. The man collapsed instantly. The floating thing shrieked a wet, high sound that vibrated through the air before collapsing inward like it had lost all tension. Smoke drifted. Behind the counter stood a woman in a waitress uniform, hands shaking as she lowered the shotgun. Her eyes were red, her face streaked with tears. "They make us run," she whispered. "They always make us run." Before the drifter could respond, something struck the front window. Then another. Figures emerged from the darkness outside. Men, women, travelers, families stumbling out of the trees and from behind parked cars. Every one of them moved the same way. Stiff, jerky, like marionettes pulled by tangled strings. And hovering behind each person was one of those pale shapes. The waitress grabbed his arm. If they stop moving, it hurts them. If they keep moving, it feeds them. The glass shattered. They ran through the kitchen, slipping on spilled grease and broken plates, bursting through the back door into the forest. Branches tore at their clothes as they fled, footsteps crashing behind them in uneven rhythm. The forest felt wrong. Too quiet, too still. After what felt like miles, they reached a concrete slab half buried beneath vines. An iron door was set into it, barely visible. The waitress threw her weight against it. The door groaned open. They slammed it shut behind them just as something struck the other side with bone-rattling force. Below lay a stairwell, descending into darkness. They followed it down. The underground facility was older than it should have been. Dust-coated control panels and monitors, some still flickering weakly. Glass tanks lined the walls, filled with cloudy liquid. Inside them floated human nervous systems. Still alive, a man stepped out from the shadows, his face hollow, eyes sunken with exhaustion. They weren't meant to leave the lab, he said quietly. He explained in broken fragments. The project was meant to study human stress, how fear and movement affected neural endurance. They discovered a way to separate the nervous system temporarily. But it didn't stay temporary. The systems adapted, learned. They didn't need bodies anymore, only hosts. They feed on effort, the man said. Stress, motion, panic. That's why they make games. That's why they make people run. A crash thundered from above. The door wouldn't hold much longer. The floating shapes drifted down the stairs, tendrils reaching, testing the air. The drifter raised his revolver, heart pounding. For the first time, he understood the truth. There were no winners. Only those who kept moving, and those who didn't.